Hi, my name's Ella. Good evening, and thank you for letting me talk to you this evening. Just a little bit about myself before I go into some of the trends in the workplace I want to talk about. So I am actually an alumni from the school. I started at JCB Academy in 2010, and I stayed here till 2014. And I've been really passionate about the school and what the school does, so I'm actually now a trustee for the school, and I'm also part of the alumni association here. And we work really closely with the students to try and give them the best experience they can have, similar to what we got when we were here. After leaving school, I went on and did a bioengineering degree at the University of Sheffield with an incorporated master's. And then from there, I went on to work at a company called Derbyshire Synthes, which are owned by Johnson & Johnson, the baby company you might have heard of, working in the medical device sector. And I now work for a company called Invibio, and essentially what we do there is we take historically metal implants and we make them out of plastics. So in my day-to-day role, I take trauma plates, which are used to fix broken bones, that were made in metal, and we now make them out of a polymer called PEEK, and also carbon fibre sheets. But enough about me. I'm not actually going to talk about me today or how I got to where I am. I'm actually going to talk about key trends in the workplace. So when I started to think about trends in the workplace, and I started to do my research online, talking to people at work, talking to other people in the sector, I realised it's quite overwhelming. There's a lot of trends, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of chat about what there is out there. And so what I wanted to do is talk to you today about what I think are some of the most popular and some of the most important trends. And they include hybrid working, customer demand, and evolving skill set. So firstly, if we talk about hybrid working, I know it's a bit of a buzzword, and I know there's a lot of controversy about it. There's a lot of negative connotations towards hybrid working, but essentially I don't really feel like we can get away from it, so I think we need to embrace it. And what I mean by hybrid working is I mean a mixture of working in and out of the office. I don't like to say in and out of working from home, because I don't think necessarily hybrid working means that you just work from home. I also think it means you work with people in different offices as well. So it's not something we can ever get away with, even if you are very much office-based 24/7. There's some really, really great things about hybrid working that I think get pushed over. So firstly, diversity. Not only do you get to work with different cultures, as you get to work with people all over the world, you also get the diversity of the way that people think, their thought process, how they start a problem, how they work through a problem, just the way that they work through everyday work that you might not already have in mind in the way that you work, and it's really great for personal development. As well as that, it allows a level of flexibility. So if you do get the option to be able to work in a hybrid situation, which to be honest, a lot of people do now, although people are more wanted back in the office, I don't think we're ever going to get away from having some form of hybrid ratio of work where not everybody is in the office every single day. It can be great to allow people to work around things they have going on outside of work. So, for example, if they have children, or if they're a carer, or if they want to work for a company but they don't want to move country, they may well be able to do that via hybrid working. So I think it's great in that way. I think in order for students to be ready for hybrid working, there's a lot of things that we can do whilst they're still at school to really prepare them for it. Communication is such a broad term, and actually there's so many ways to communicate, and hybrid working really relies on you being able to do a lot of them. So a lot of time when you're at school, it's very instantaneous communication. You can just go to your teacher and they'll answer you straight away. That is not always the case in work. So I think it's really important that students are aware that they don't always get instantaneous feedback through the communication. They plan for that. They plan for the fact that people might be halfway across the world, working on a completely different time zone to you. For example, my customers in Taiwan, I can't just message them and they answer straight away because I'll probably be asleep, and vice versa. So I think being able to learn to work around that is really important. I also think it's really important to know that there's different types of communication. So you've got long form, you've got short form, you've got top-level communication, really technical knowledge in communication, and being able to talk in multiple different ways and through different channels is really, really important, and something we should be teaching students now rather than waiting until they try and get into the world of work and they're trying to learn to communicate and do their job at the same time. Moving on to my next one, that's customer demand. So I think customer demand is ever-changing. It's basically the input into what everybody does in their jobs, whether that's internal customers or external customers. They're usually your input that drives whatever output you're trying to get. And on a grand term, they want things quicker, they want things faster, they want things cheaper, especially want things more sustainable these days. Again, it's another buzzword. Everybody wants things more sustainable. And again, another big word that has so many meanings in different career paths. But having an awareness of the fact that changing customer demands it's happening. You can't really get around it, and you have to embrace it and move with customer demand change. It's again something I think that's really important for students to be aware of now, so that when they get into work, they're not overwhelmed by the fact that actually things are going to change all the time. You're trying to make something to a certain spec, and all of a sudden, everyone wants it quicker, or they want better quality, but they wanted it 3 weeks ago. It's just something that we have to embrace, and I think also having an awareness of what's going on in the world can really help to predict what customer demands are. So I think if students can really understand an awareness of the world and not just be so secluded and streamlined into what they're doing, it really helps you to predict what those customers are going to need, not just now, but maybe in 5 years' time as well. Finally, evolving skill set. So I want to split this really into two sections. You've got technical skills and you've got soft skills. I think technical skills are so important. Obviously, they're the backbone of whatever we do in terms of moving through our career. But I think there's a lot of focus on students focusing on a few different subjects. They then do it at university or apprenticeship, and they're going to follow this linear path through their career. And it's just not the same anymore. You've got to think that a lot of the students now, the jobs they're going to be doing, they don't even exist yet. So expecting them to streamline what they're doing whilst they're at school is not going to set them up for success. So I think having an awareness of technical skills and technical knowledge is important, but let's not streamline it too quickly and try and embrace what we learn at school and learn all the transferable skills we can from that so you can apply it to different jobs as you move through your career. Secondly, soft skills. So I'm really, really passionate about soft skills and the importance of them. Like I said before, I'm an alumni of the school and part of the association, and something that all of us benefited from was learning those soft skills. And by soft skills, I mean teamwork, communication, problem solving, conflict management, having empathy for people. They're all needed in work and in life, but generally in work. And I think although technical enhancers are changing exponentially, soft skills are universal and grow organically with technical changes. They don't really change that much. As technology is changing, we still need to be able to communicate and work in a team. Just the way you communicate and the type of team you work in might change. So I think it's really important that students have this scaffold of soft skills that they know. And if they know them at school, it's one less thing to think about in work, and it's an anchor that allows them to stay confident in what they're doing and not become overwhelmed. Nearly over time. So, with that in mind, just to summarise, I think an overarching theme really of everything I'm talking about here is reacting to change, embracing change, and adaptability. Adaptability is this huge word. It's got many definitions, but what I mean by that is that students don't think they can do one thing now and it will set them up for life and that's it. It's not like that anymore. You can't just do one thing at school and hope you'll be in a career for the next 50 years and it will be a linear progression. There is going to be change, and it's about enhancing that change, leaning into the change, leaning into the fact that things are going to be different and embracing that. I think that's so important. And I'd just like to conclude by saying I think soft skills are so powerful, and I think it's really, really important that students learn them at school and that they embrace change and know that that is going to come in their life. But thank you very much.